Clint, have you been given any idea as to whether you are going to be here next season?
Good question. Nice easy one to start with. No, not at the moment. I think might know early next week. I think the last I heard. So that's all I know at the moment. So hopefully this time next week, if you ask me that question, I might have an answer for you.
The manager was saying he's going to. He had a meeting with the players earlier this week, and he's going to speak to them all next week. He says that this squad needs a major overhaul. Is that fair?
I mean that's up to the gaffer to. Obviously, he has his own philosophy and ideas of how he wants to take the club forward. I think if you look throughout world football, it's very rare that teams will only make 3 or 4 changes. You know, it's become pretty well known now that there's 7, 8, 9, 10 changes in most teams. So yeah, I can see that happening here, and hopefully it's a good thing and it will take the club forward next season. Kenny
Miller's been given a new contract, indicative of his performances and his influence on the team. Does that give you hope that the manager will look at what you've done for the team this year and perhaps act the same way?
Hopefully. Obviously, I've made it clear that if there is a contract to be had, then I'd love to stay here. I've enjoyed my time. It's been a very difficult season, obviously, as a club and as a team. But personally, I've enjoyed my experience here. It's been an honour to play here in front of such a big crowd, and it's something that will live with me for a long time. And then obviously Kenny's been fantastic and he's carried the club forward. He's scored a lot of important goals, and he'll be important for the club going into the future as well. So yeah, probably next week, if you ask me that question, I can be a bit more clearer for you guys.
Do you think your performances this year are justified or not?
Don't really like to speak about myself, to be honest, mate. I'm quite a hard person to on myself, if you know what I mean, in performances when I analyse things. So I leave that to other people, and like I said, we'll see this time next week if they have justified in getting a new contract or not.
You've been, played pretty much the majority of the games. I mean, did you expect to be involved as much as you have been this season?
I don't know. Probably not. I probably thought maybe I'll be 3rd, 4th choice defender and come in and just earn my stripes and try and get in the team and just make it as hard as possible for someone to take it off me. And I think it's kind of panned out that way. Been okay. Obviously, you can only judge it at the final standings of the season. Obviously, it's not been a great season as a team, so there'd be a lot of negatives and positives to take at the end of it.
Well, I suppose, you see, we all know how difficult a season it's been, but you see you're still enjoying it. What is it?
Of course I have, yeah. Of course I have. I mean, 38, I'm playing for Glasgow Rangers, 52,000 people turn up every other week to support this club. It's one of the biggest clubs in world football. And it's definitely one of the highest achievements I've had in my career, and I've thoroughly enjoyed representing the club, and hopefully we'll see this time next week if I can continue or not.
How much is this? What's the season been like compared to what you thought it would be like when you joined?
I knew it'd be hard, but I think this club's built on winning things, the tradition throughout the years of winning trophies and finishing top. And that expectation will never ever cease, no matter where you've been over the last 3 or 4 years. And I think it's right as well, because I think standards should be high. So I think one of the objectives was to get into Europe. Hopefully we can do that. But we definitely do need to kick on over the next few years to close the gap.
You're one of the few players in the team that's probably escaped much criticism this season. Do you think some of the criticism directed towards the squad has been fair? To be fair, I don't put myself in a situation where I see things like that, So if there has been criticism, maybe some of it is right, because we should be playing a little bit more consistent as a team, and we should be higher as a team. But yeah, I'll leave that to the people outside to make judgments, and I'll just reevaluate at the end of the season and try and correct a few things that didn't go quite right.
The aim, the public aim at the start of the season was to get as close to Celtic as possible, and I appreciate you didn't play in the game at Hampden, but to then be involved last weekend, was that a bit of a shock to the system to see just how far in front Celtic appeared to be?
They're a good team. They're a good team, let's make no mistake about it. They deserve to be where they are. They've been a consistent team throughout the season. They've set the standards high. I think we fell a bit below what we set ourselves, to be honest with you. And listen, it was hard to take. It was a hard defeat to take. There's no mistake about it. Nobody likes losing at home. Nobody likes losing in that manner. So it was a difficult pill to take, but it just goes to show what we need to do to close that gap now. You know, it's plain to see that we need to work harder as a team and as a club, and hopefully next season we can close it.
It can never be easy coming off a defeat like that. How have you guys had to try and pick yourselves up this week?
You have to. I mean, it was a difficult 48 hours, obviously. Just going through the whole motions of it, the whole game again, and obviously the scoreline. But at the end of the day, as harsh as it sounds, you've got to put it to one side. You can't overthink it, because it can have a negative effect on you as a person, as a player. So you just try and brush it aside, learn from it, and crack on for the next game.
Clint, any time there's a change in manager, new manager will have new methods, etc. Has it been difficult to perhaps execute some of those methods from the training pitch to the game?
I think generally it takes time. Obviously you might get a little bounce effect of a new manager coming in, and players taking that reaction of a new guy coming in, a slate being wiped clean for everybody. But I do think it does take time for his philosophy to transfer to players. Like you said, they might have to change players to bring players in that suited style as well. So yeah, it's going to take time, but hopefully he'll have pre-season and the lads can hit the ground running and they'll know what he wants to do, and we can have a better season.
But at this stage, you know what his style is, or do you know what his style is?
I know what it is, yeah.
Yeah, does the team know? Just because after the cup match, Pedro was honest in saying, listen, I need to work out why what we try and do in training isn't being executed on the pitch. So we'll just try to get to the bottom why that is.
Well, you know, it might, like you said there, you might need new players coming in. You know what I mean? Sometimes you go to football clubs and a new manager comes in and you don't fit the style of play. That's just the nature of the game. And I'm sure he'll, like you said there, he'll reevaluate over the next few weeks, and he'll keep the players that he wants, and he'll might have to shift if you want. That's just the nature of the game.
The manager also said that it was quite a frank meeting with the players earlier this week. Did you find it beneficial, and were there a few home truths there?
Well, of course, yeah. Listen, you don't walk off that pitch on in the afternoon and think you've done well. There's no mistake about that. The past couple of weeks have been hard. I don't think we've played as well as we can do as a team, especially against Celtic as well, which makes it even a bit more painful. But there's always a chance to rectify that now. Now we go to Partick and we've got 3 or 4 games where we need to kick on. We need to win the games to have a positive effect for next season.
We spoke about your own situation, but do you sense that there's guys in the dressing room right now that are anxious about their own futures, but whether or not they might be kept in next year?
I don't know. Not really, because it's the nature of the game. I mean, you could have a 4-year contract, but you could still not be wanted. You know, it's just the way it is. So no, it's always a difficult time of the year because your season's ending, and obviously if a new manager comes in, he might not know you. But I think he's clarified that next week everybody will know what's made of them, and we can just kick on from there.
This weekend, PFA Player of the Year Awards. Can we ask who you voted for and why in each category for the player and young player?
I'm trying to think. I went for young player. It was that long ago. I think I've done Sinclair. I think he's had a great season. Obviously an ex-teammate as well. I think he's been brilliant all season, scored vital goals and been a threat. I don't think a young player was, to be honest with you. I don't even think I did it. I just done Scotty because obviously I know him quite well. He's a good guy, and he deserves all the accolades he gets.
What do you make of the way he's grabbed this season?
Yeah, no, he's always had that talent. Even from years and years ago when we were at Palace on loan together, you could see what he was about. I think he had a difficult few years, but he's bounced back this year and he's done very, very well. And unfortunately for us, he's been very good. But he's a great guy, and I'm pleased for him.